Hey, this is Trickstar, and I'm here from Solis. We're doing a segment called Foul Play today. Basically, what I want to talk about today is Final Fantasy Realm Reborn. First off, I think it's a great game, pretty good MMO. But I'm having a issue with a black screen. I guess you could call it a black screen glitch. And basically, what happens is that during gameplay, the screen will cut black. Now, you can still see, NPC names, and you can still see the map. You can still see the chat box. You can see enemies' names. You can see, the skills at the bottom. You can still pause the game and see the menus and everything. But for some odd reason, it won't. It won't let you actually see the monsters or your character or anything else, like the map, I guess you should say. The well, let you see the ground, trees, that type of stuff. But I found that when you do, there's a little trick to it. The first thing you can do, if you're like me and you're having this problem, which I know some people are, because I seen it on the forum board that there's a lot of different people having this. What you can do is you can choose to zone out of the map, and when I say zone, I mean like if you can run in one map and then go back out, and then the screen will, or when you go into the map, the screen will be fixed, and then you can go back to do whatever you're doing. But that's kind of a hassle because if you're far away from a zone area and you're in the middle of something, you don't want to run all the way there and then run all the way back because it's just annoying. Like it stopped me from playing Final Fantasy for the first week and a half that I had it because the black screen was annoying me. Now I have found a temporary fix for it. Now it only works 9 out of 10 times, and what this temporary fix is that if your character is when you get the black screen, use the teleport or the return button. Now when you use it, when the little meter starts to build up, interrupt it. Just move, and your screen should clear up. Now I said 9 out of 10 times. The reason I said this is because sometimes it doesn't work depending on where you are. Prime example, I was in a dungeon before, and I got that, and the interruption didn't work. Now when I hit the full return and I returned to the beginning of the dungeon, it worked. But that's not good because when you go back and catch up with your team, if the screen blacks out again, you're gonna have to wait 15 minutes before you can use this the quick fix, or even I guess you can quote the permanent fix from the full teleport. Now I have contacted Square Enix about this and 2 to 3 times already, and I don't get why it seems like they're the Illuminati or something like that, because it's almost impossible to get in contact with them. You gotta duck and dodge bullets just to get the number to them, and even harder to get contact with them through email or whatever. So I went to the website because I was having this issue with it, and when I filled out I guess you could say report. Now I filled out the report and typed out everything that was going on, and then they did one of the most disrespectful things I think somebody can do, because they basically said after I put out my full detail and blah blah blah, they basically said, oh well, we're gonna read this, but we're not gonna respond to it. And then they pulled up a second menu which told me that that the next email that I would be filling out would be the one that they would read, and that they would contact me back on. Now, I feel like the first ticket is irrelevant because I basically wrote everything down that I had a problem with in that ticket. Now I have to write a second ticket without, wishing I would have copied and pasted the stuff from the first ticket, because the first ticket had all my energy. By the second ticket, I'm like, what the hell? I don't want to do this anymore. So, I do the second ticket, and when the second ticket comes, it's I send the ticket in, they say, oh, well, we're going to get back to you in 2 days. and that was about 2 weeks ago, almost three. So, I kind of feel like I should have gotten some response. And I know they're seeing on the forums where other people are having this problem, but I feel like Square Enix should have, responded at least. And if you're one of those people who don't have a ticket, don't bother. If you get hold of their number, do not bother calling them. Because I also feel that it's disrespectful that if you call them without a ticket number, they will hang up the phone before you can even finish saying no, you don't have a ticket number. Why? I have no idea. Because the only people calling are people with black screen issues. So everybody has a black screen issue. So I'm trying to figure out, what goes on. Why they would think this is okay to just hang up in our face when I'm obviously having a problem with one of your products. Now, on top of that, I've called them, still haven't responded to the email that they said they were going to send me. Still haven't, figured out what this issue is. All they can tell me is to do things that doesn't make sense. Now, apparently, it's just the original model of the PS3 model, I guess, that's having these problems. Apparently, Slims don't have it, but they have yet to shed any light on how to fix the problem. And I kind of really, consider that. I'm not gonna say it's disrespectful, but if you don't have a problem with it and you can't figure out what's going on, you could at least, hit the forums or contact me back or email me back and say, hey, we don't have a problem, but we know you're having a problem. And I believe, that's foul.